Lane Pass. Like, Game Pass is like the dollar menu of video games. You know, like, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Sound of the Rain. Today, I'm gonna talk about console wars.
War. It's fantastic.
This has become a hot topic of discussion recently, especially with E3 just winding down. There's a lot of talk about Game Pass and acquisition of different developers, and Sony kind of competing with Microsoft. It's usually those two. You don't really hear Nintendo kind of has their own lane and their own zone, and people kind of expect what they expect from Nintendo and get what they get from Nintendo. But it tends to really be the big two. Back in the day when I was younger, when the NES, that was the very first video game system that I got that was personally mine, the Nintendo Entertainment System. When that came out, that was the big dog, you know, running the show. The Sega Master System came out, which was an 8-bit system in the same vein as the NES, but the NES was just the lick, you know, back then. But when the 16-bit era came, the Sega Genesis was a force to be reckoned with. So you had the Sega Genesis, and then you had the Super Nintendo, and to a lesser extent, the TurboGrafx 16. I had one friend in school, a guy named Chad. He had that, but that was it. Only game I knew they had. They had Bonk's Adventure, Keith's Courage, some other stuff that I wanted to play, never got to play, but Splatterhouse, you know. So TurboGrafx, they did their thing. But after the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, I think the next system I had was a PlayStation 1. I had a friend that had a Sega Saturn, which I thought was awesome. The Dreamcast was a phenomenal system. Ever since I got a PlayStation 1, I've just been a PlayStation guy. Since I've been a PlayStation guy all that time, you know, I've played games on that system, franchises that I've, you know, grown to love, sequels span across different consoles. You know, the controller has grown, I'm used to it. I'm just a PlayStation guy. Then when the Xbox came out, the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox were kind of rivals, and it's been like that since then. There are a lot of people that want to kumbaya and hold hands and say, well, you know, gamers are gamers and everybody can play games on, you know, whatever system they want to, and which is true, I agree, but all in the spirit of fun. The console wars, like, you know, saying, yo, I'm a PlayStation guy or you're an Xbox, unless somebody's getting like fanatical with it, I've not experienced that. So the people that deal with that on a regular basis, they'll probably be a little more, you know, I could understand, I guess, why they have an issue with the whole console war thing. But for me, it's like having your favorite team. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm in North Carolina. I'm a Panthers guy by default. If you live in Florida and I say the Dolphins are trash, it's because I'm a Panthers guy. I'm not sitting there looking at their stats and looking at each player and say, you know what, his ability to play football is less than stellar. They're trash. So Xbox is trash. Xbox has always been trash. Xbox always will be trash. And I hate the Xbox controller. Under no circumstance will I ever buy an Xbox. My son has an Xbox and I think it's trash, but I see the coolness of it. The UI, it makes me want to vomit, you know, and that's because I'm not used to it. I'm used to the PS2, the PS3, the PS4. So if that's what I've grown accustomed to, that's what I'm used to. And so anything that's not that is going to be trash to me. I thought Microsoft's Xbox E3 presentation was trash. It was a bunch of games I would never want to play. I'm not big on first-person perspective games. I like to see my character, a la Horizon Zero Dawn, a la Days Gone, a la God of War, a la Uncharted, a la... You see where I'm going with this? Xbox showed zero games like that. Had like All I needed to see was like one third-person action adventure game, and I'd have been like, okay, I see you. But no, everything's first person, has that dark, grainy, gritty feel, and that's just not me. That's just not what I'm into. So it was trash, you know? The announcement of Ghost of Tsushima coming out with the director's cut, adding a new island, like, just that one announcement to me was more exciting than anything that Microsoft showed at their E3 conference. I don't care about Bethesda. I don't care about, you know, Outer Worlds. I don't like, none of that stuff is, but see, that's the thing. I could be the minority. That's my personal opinion. Somebody else out there might go crazy and love to hear about those kind of games and, you know, things of that nature. They're garbage to me. So if you have an Xbox, it's trash. If you have an Xbox, you're trash. You're an Xbox. I don't like you. You know, deal with it. It's like if you go into a football game and the opposing team's, you know, fans are all sitting in the stands together holding hands, you know, rooting for each other, and, you know, one player falls. You're like, oh no, I hope he's okay. Nah, man, it's okay. Like right now, console wars are being lost by Sony. I can admit that, even as a hater of Xbox. Sony's not really doing their thing right now. But this is the thing. Once they start dropping Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, whatever the pending title is, Uncharted, Neil Druckmann already said that the blueprint for The Last of Us 3 has already been created. The Last of Us 1 remake. Like, once these things drop, it's a wrap. Like, Game Pass, lame pass. Like, Game Pass is like the dollar menu of video games. You know, like, I'm paying, what, $20 a month or whatever, and I get access to all these games. Oh, Doom Eternal and this and that. And oh man, wow, that's cool. Guess what? 5 games, heck, 1 game on PlayStation that comes from PlayStation's first-party studios. God of War 2018 would crush anything on Game Pass. I would rather pay $60 to play God of War 2018 than to have access to a McChicken, a McDouble, you know, a hamburger with no pickles, no onion. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's all about value, you know, quality over quantity. I don't like the direction that Sony's going in this generation. Word on the streets is that Hideo Kojima might have been acquired by Xbox, which is crazy with him just announcing a director's cut for Death Stranding. If that's true, I'll check it out. But I'm not so much of a Kojima nut that I'm gonna drop everything and buy Xbox just because he puts a game out on Xbox. I've never played Zone of Enders. I'm a Metal Gear fan before I'm a Kojima fan. Don't get it twisted. And Death Stranding is just amazing. Yeah, man, have fun. As long as nobody's like disrespecting you or going out of their way, like treating you like, all right, this is all in jest. I've played games on Xbox that I think are pretty cool. I'm personally not a fan of the controller at all. I don't like the way that it feels in my hands. I'm used to the DualShock 4, the DualShock 3. The progression from the 3 to the 4 for me was seamless. I hope it'll be the same from the 4 to the 5, but that's just a personal preference, you know? And this is the thing. Back in the day, this is really where the console war started. Pay attention. Back in the day when an NES came out or a Sega Genesis came out, people could not afford to have more than one system, okay? You got people now that were kids then that are grown-ups and they're adults, and they can afford to buy a PS5. They can afford to buy Xbox One or Xbox Series S, whatever that trash is called. They can afford to have those multiple systems and enjoy those multiple games. There's some people that can't afford to have that. And as a kid, you could only have one. Or some people might have had more than one. You know, I knew people that did. And eventually I did. When I got a job, I was able to buy a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis. Before that, you know, I'd go to school, talk to my friends. You know, they would have Super Nintendos. I had a Genesis. we'd sit there, argue, look at GamePro and look at Electronic Gaming Monthly or Game Fan, look at the articles and compare. You know, that was a cool thing, seeing the reviews, which version is better, the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis version. Then when Mortal Kombat came out, you know, the Sega Genesis version had blood with the blood code in it. And, you know, we were just all harping on all the Super Nintendo dudes like, yeah, you know, like, that's what the console wars are to me, you know? So, I mean, in this day and age, people might be able to have multiple and afford multiple. I've not seen anything on Xbox that would make me say like, oh yeah, I want an Xbox just for this game. It's a bunch of first-person games, and that's, personally, I'm not big on first-person shooters, unless it's like I'm playing Destiny or something like that, like, you know, multiplayer, like shooting. And, you know, to me, the best multiplayer shooter is Factions, Last of Us, and Last of Us 2 Factions. You will see quite a bit of coverage for that on this channel. Watch my, you know, so yeah. So that's my take on the console wars. If someone's abusing or bullying you online because of your opinion, that's understandable. But if someone says something is trash, like, don't take it to heart. It's all in love and it's all in fun. You know, it's like me saying, you know, LeBron is trash. Half the people that call LeBron James trash couldn't hold a cup of water for him on a basketball court. You see what I'm saying? But it's just testosterone, you know, just kind of male competitive spirit, you know. And I'll continue to say Xbox is trash, and I'll continue to say Game Pass is the dollar menu of video games, you know. I get it, and I think it's cool, you know. My son's got Game Pass, and I'll probably never buy a video game for him, or I don't remember buying any games for him recently. He just, if something new comes out, he plays it on Game Pass. I think it's actually, honestly, a phenomenal service, you know. The concept of it, the way it's being carried out, how it affects Microsoft financially, you know, that's yet to be seen. I'm not sure. I don't know how that stuff works, but I guarantee you that their competition probably can't afford to make such moves and do such things, you know, and that's where they're gonna kind of be able to stand out. So if they're taking a loss just to crush a competition and bring people over to Xbox, they're doing their thing. Kudos to them. That's my take on the console wars. You know, it all started with back in the day, people could only have or afford one system. You had that system, you roll with it, you roll for it. And when the next iteration of that came out, the people you were playing with, you know, I think online gaming might have got people to switch up sides. You know, you might have people that want to play online with their friends, and now with cross-platform gaming, that's kind of allowing people to play with, you know, friends who have different systems, which I think is cool. And the exclusives, I've heard people talk about exclusives for systems. What if there's no...